Hello and welcome. We're excited to be here today to present Dining as a Campus Changemaker and Incubator for Future Food Leaders. My name is Beth Emery, and I'm the Director of Dining Services at Boston College. And with me is Molly Funk, our Student Sustainability Manager, and we're excited to present to you today. Just a little background information about Boston College, the university. You can see we have just under 15,000 students and we have 50 fields of study and over 188,000 alumni. And here's some information about Boston College dining. We serve approximately 20,000 meals per day. We have 14 dining locations, and we source, cook, and serve and dispose of an enormous amount of resources, as you can see in this slide. We thought it would be good for you to learn a little bit more about BC Dining, and we're going to share a short video. Okay, moving on, what we'd really like to talk to you for a fair bit today is our student intern program. So about 8 years ago, I had a student come to me with all sorts of questions about where we sourced our food and how we managed our waste. And we had a great conversation. And I soon after decided, I'm going to offer this student a job. So that was the beginning of our student sustainability internship program. That's grown from one about 7 years ago to a team of about 6 this year. And I'm going to pass it over to Molly so that she can talk more specifically about our program.
Yes, our intern program is something we're really proud of at BC Dining, and something that I personally am really passionate about because I've been a part of the intern program myself since my freshman year, around 3 years at this point. And it's really just an incredible opportunity for our students to really engage with sustainability and take a lot of agency and ownership over our BC Dining sustainability projects. So the way that our internship functions, as Beth said, we have around 6 to 10 interns at any given time. And our interns work really closely with senior level staff like Beth, various managers across the dining halls, to really figure out what are the needs within sustainability on our campus, how can we assist with the programs that are already going on in our dining halls to make them more sustainable, but also to let interns take a lot of initiative in terms of, what are your interests and what areas for improvement do you see within the dining halls. And we take a lot of pride in having our interns be, real instruments for a change in the dining halls based on their own skills and knowledge that they bring to the role. And our interns, it's a very collaborative team. So we all work on all of the various projects going on at any time, but we also love for our interns to specialize in specific areas within sustainability. For example, when I first started, I worked in zero waste. So working on increasing the sustainability of our disposable products and increasing student use of reusable dishes. But we also have interns specializing on local sourcing, working to increase engagement with our farmers market, our community supported agriculture program. We have interns working on food justice and equity initiatives, interns who facilitate our cooking classes, and we also have a team of about 3 students working on our database. So looking at analyzing our sustainability data. So a huge range of different areas for students to specialize in and gain really, important knowledge within the sustainability field. So we are, really an important part of our intern team as well is really imparting sustainability knowledge to students. A lot of our students enter this program already with some background in sustainability, but we really feel that our interns leave with a much deeper knowledge of food systems, food justice, and how food and dining can be a real, instrument for change in the sustainability world. So personally, I came in with a lot of knowledge related to, zero waste, but very little knowledge of food systems, and why is local agriculture and sustainable sourcing such a key part of sustainability. So part of the way we do that is through, fun bonding visits to local farms, to visit, the local flour mill where our bagels are produced. So real opportunities for students to get to engage directly with our BC Dining producers, and to get to know each other better and really just interact more with the sustainable food systems we're trying to promote. And so that's just been an amazing, experience for me as an intern. We're also really proud of where our interns have gone in the past. Beth, would you like to talk a little bit more about some of our alumni?
Yes, so Becca was the student that I first mentioned. She came to me and was the president of one of our student groups on campus, and had great questions and ended up being our first intern. And then you can see on the side, Rebecca, she's was in the Peace Corps when she graduated, and currently she is a farm apprentice at Caretaker Farm. And another student that worked with us, Jen Wisniewski, and she worked with us all 4 years, ended up as the sustainability student manager like Molly is. And she's currently a Teach for America, finishing up in New Orleans, and is now searching for a job in food systems.
So just before we dive into some of our more specific projects, we want to give an overview of how sustainability at BC has changed over the past, couple decades. So, just briefly, I would say our sustainability really touched off with the introduction of recycling and composting across campus, first within the kitchens and then in front of house in all of the dining halls, allowing students to compost and recycle their own waste around early 2000s. We very quickly introduced a food donation program to reduce food waste and donate our leftover food from the dining halls to local organizations. We introduced the farmers market at Corcoran, one of our main units, in 2012. Around 2013, we started monitoring our food waste through a program called Lean Path that allows us to weigh and keep track of how much food was being wasted in the dining halls in order to cut down on that waste. Around 2017, we were really lucky to be awarded a grant from the Kendall Foundation that gave us funding to start a new initiative called Fresh, which we'll talk about more later, that really focuses on our local sourcing and sustainability in food. We also hired our our sustainability manager, Julie Stelmazik, who was an amazing leader on campus, introducing more sustainability initiatives to BC Dining over the past few years. Around that time, we also introduced our community-supported agriculture partnership with a local farm to bring fresh veggies and produce to faculty and students every week in the fall. And then in 2019, we introduced our Green to Go reusable container program as a pilot. And in the past few years, we actually just expanded that program to all of our main dining units this past spring, which has also been really exciting. So a lot of growth over the past few years, and a lot of that has been due to the leadership among our interns and students. Has been really exciting for us to see.
Yes, we get some of our best ideas from students, and we were lucky. Boston, Massachusetts is part of New England, which is a number of states in the northeast of the United States. And we are very involved in their Food Vision and Farm to Institution program with the goal of getting to 50% of all of our produce by the year 2060. You can see here on the slide, 50 by 60. And we were approached by a foundation, the Henry P. Kendall Foundation, and asked to apply for a grant, which we were very lucky, Melly mentioned it, to get, which did allow us to hire a sustainability manager who helped us tremendously make efforts in this area. We also partnered with two of our colleagues in the Boston area, Harvard University and Tufts University, and we received a New England Food Vision Prize, which has also provided us with more opportunities to support farmers and buy more local. We are involved in the Farm to Institution. Obviously, institutions have a big impact. Our Fresh to Table initiative, which we will do as part of a larger national movement, which uses the enormous buying power of all institutions. So that's hospitals, colleges, public schools to support family farms and healthy food systems. At Boston College, we serve about 4 million meals each school year, and New England colleges serve about 65 million. So collectively, we can really have a big impact on the health of our community and local economy. And Food Solutions New England is a partnership. And we're really trying to get students more involved in some of the work that's being done and educate them about these initiatives. We can use our purchasing power and student engagement to really contribute to this 50 by 60 vision. Another makes perfect sense. Another great collaborative that Boston College has been very lucky to be a member of. As you can see, there's about just under 60 universities across the country that are part of the Menus of Change Research Collaborative. And we're actively working on research and education projects, which help us work towards these healthy, sustainable, and delicious food choices. So this was initially started, this whole Menus of Change, by Harvard School of Public Health in conjunction with the Culinary Institute of America. And we have been really excited and proud because we've had a few students be Menus of Change fellows and work on specific research projects related to the Menus of Change University Research Collaborative. And one of our students you'll hear more about did her senior thesis this year. Fresh to Table, you've heard us mention this a couple times. Now we want to really explain how this came to be. So I was sitting with about 5 students upstairs in one of our larger dining halls, brainstorming how could we put together a program that would engage and educate students. And we came up with this acronym, FRESH. And you can see here that the F stands for the fairly traded, R stands for regional, E equitable, S sustainable, and H healthy. And you can see a picture here on right here on the top left is one of our demonstration kitchens that is out in the dining room that gives us a chance to engage with students. And then these other photos are pictures of field trips that some of our student interns and also some of our employees have been on to educate them more about our vendors. So again, here you can see more specifically what these acronyms stand for. The fairly traded, we're really focusing on fairly and equitable labor practices. The regional is what I was talking about with that 50 by 60. We're really trying to focus on purchasing in New England. And equitable, we're always looking to try to purchase from vendors that are socially responsible, women and minority owned. And there's, examples on this slide. Sustainable, looking at agricultural practices, which practice land stewardship, and healthy, providing options to students that are whole and minimally processed, delicious, pleasurable, and nutritionally dense. Now we're going to share a quick video about our Fresh to Table program, and you'll see a quote here from a professor that we work with quite a bit on campus. And let me just put this video on for you.
I think the Fresh to Table initiative is really exciting for Boston College students. It means fairly traded, regional, equitable, sustainable, and healthy. And this basically means that for students that they can be eating meals that directly connect to farm communities that are regional or local, but also with food that's developed in a sustainable way.
I've been involved with Fresh to Table since the beginning. Beth had approached me about a grant that she was working on and asked for my help. I've been an intern since my sophomore year, and so we started working on the application second semester of my junior year.
We applied for a grant from the Henry P. Kendall Foundation, which were kind enough to award us that funding. We utilize locally sourced produce in a lot of our dishes, and we couple that with a display kitchen that we utilize to come up with new recipes and to test them out and have tastings with our customers to see what their take is.
The Fresh to Table initiative is a really positive step forward for BC because in addition to our environmental impact, what we eat has a direct impact or connection to a farming community, to a farm, to a family, to farm workers. And so we are eating in a way that expresses our values when we are thinking about equity in the food system. And I think that's an exciting step forward for BC students.
Okay, and I'm going to let Molly talk about some of the student engagement we do with Fresh to Table.
Yeah, so you saw a little bit in that video what our fresh demos look like, but they're really, one of the most important ways that we engage with students on what is the importance of fresh, of sustainable, of regional, of equitably sourced food. And there's really no better way of doing that in the dining halls than offering these beautiful, free samples of meals. It really draws students in and gives our intern team, who's a fundamental part of this initiative, time to talk with students as they come to get their sample about, what exactly is this food you're eating? Where did it come from? And to really to celebrate our vendors and say this is why their story is so amazing and why we want to work with them, and also impart to students this understanding of why is having this local sustainable food system so crucial for a sustainable environment, sustainable food system. And our interns really have been so important in this process, and have also had a lot of opportunity to gain skills through this Fresh program. Our interns like Anne Marie and Katie, who you can see on this slide, Rose on the upper right, have really been leaders in working with our chefs to craft these meals, to market the meals, to engage with students and draw students in, and then really to learn how do you communicate, how do you do storytelling on sustainability. So that's been really impactful for both our interns, and a really incredible part of how we engage through Fresh.
And we've got an example of one of our Fresh to Table demos to share with you. Okay, our next topic is our farmers market, which Molly's going to talk to you about.
Yeah, so our farmers market has become, such an important part of our sustainability work, especially this year because of the pandemic. Partially, our farmers market was this amazing opportunity for students to gather outdoors in a safe, socially distanced manner and engage with sustainable, local produce, baked goods, dairy. We've actually had the farmers markets since, I think it was around 2012 that it was first introduced, but we really grew the market this year. And partially because the sustainability team really took initiative over the market this year. And our interns took a lot of responsibility over making the market a really engaging experience for students that was also educational and really was telling the story of the local farms we were working with through the market. So, under COVID, what the market looked like was every Friday, we would put out a tent outside of our main dining location and feature various different locally produced veggies and fruits, different baked goods from both the BC Dining Bakery and local bakeries, cider and hummus and different dairy products, all from the New England area. And as you can see in some of these photos, we made sure to create little cards that named all of the produce and said exactly where it came from. So to really highlight, these are the specific farms that we're supporting and that you're supporting through your purchases at the market. So it wasn't just, an opportunity for students to buy food and use up their meal plan money, but really a way for them to engage with, our local farmers, local vendors. And we got incredible feedback from students on the market because, as I said, it was just an awesome opportunity for students to be outside and engage with people. We always had music going. It was a really fun atmosphere. It was also so much fun for our intern team. Almost everybody on our team, regardless of whether they were a database intern or a zero waste person, everyone showed up to work the farmers market at least a couple times throughout the semester. And was one of the most incredible ways for us to get to know each other, especially some of our new interns who we hadn't even worked with in person because of the pandemic. It was really an opportunity to bring people together and to just celebrate local food in this really fun atmosphere. And also just allowed us to increase the amount that we were actually sourcing from our local farms. Which has been amazing. Something that was also really important was our use of our weekly newsletter, which had a great following of students. We would email students every week with a list of the produce that would be coming to the market, but also include little information about our producers, what kind of events were going on local farms that week, nutrition tips, different recipes and ideas for how students could use the produce of the market in their own kitchens. So this was a way, which was really the brainchild of one of our interns, to really draw students in more and make this a more of an educational experience as well. We also use social media really in just a fun way to highlight the fun atmosphere at the market and celebrate some of our producers, which is also really fun. And I also just want to celebrate the role of our interns in making this all happen. Over the course of the farmers market, one of our interns, who was a sophomore, a second-year student this year, actually took over the majority of the sourcing, the purchasing of various different products to sell at the market, working with one of our managers. And she really took a lot of initiative in choosing what we were going to sell, in organizing our records, organizing our sales. So it was really such an incredible opportunity for her to develop these skills of managing a farmer's market, as a student, which is a really unique opportunity as well.
And we got a lot of positive recognition this year from the student newspaper, from some student publications. It was featured in a number of different publications because this was one of those safe activities we could do during the pandemic outside. And the students that came to the farmers market were just so happy that they were able to be engaging. I mean, they still had their masks on, but it was just a great opportunity and it did increase our participation, which we hope will continue.
So our next big initiative, that has actually been going on for, a few years now is our community supported agriculture partnership. And so, the way this functions is we partner with a local farm, Ward's Berry Farm in Sharon, Mass, only a few miles away, to bring local veggies and produce to campus in the form of CSA farm share boxes that then students and faculty and staff can buy in to this share to receive these veggies every week. And so we basically, this is a really important way for farms to receive an upfront revenue source to pay for all the things they need to run their farm throughout the season, and then allow our students and faculty and staff to be getting amazing fresh veggies every single week to cook with, and has been great for engaging not only students but also staff and professors in our work, people who wouldn't ordinarily eat at the dining halls but are really still interested in supporting local agriculture, which has been amazing. We also have a weekly newsletter that we send out recipes and updates on the farm, just to keep people engaged. And again, this has been a program that was really has been really important for our interns. This program was started by our intern Summer several years ago, who really spearheaded the program, and then it was passed along to Katie, who's a graduating senior this year. Our intern Rose was also really involved in this, so it was really an opportunity for different interns to have their hand in this program, to really build relationships with our clients who are buying into the farm share, and for them to really dig into how do you put on a successful CSA program.
This is just a short video about Ward's Berry Farm, which is where we get the weekly farm share. And we did take a number of student interns on a field trip here.
Bulk of the year, this is where all our produce is coming in. The trucks are picking up the deliveries, and peak tomato season, you can barely even walk in here.
I think it is a great way for us to give produce to the community, and with the farm share, it's a great way for us to personalize each box.
That brings them closer to the food and brings us closer to our customers. When I was a kid, I used to come to Ward's and experience that. So here I am working there, driving the hay rides around and giving the same experience to this generation of kids. A lot of fertilizers, the way they're produced, very harmful to the environment. So by growing a cover crop, it maintains the soil fertility. We can plow it back in to add it back to the soil. We compost on site here. A lot of the leaves we mulch with to help maintain the soil moisture, and then try to keep it as self-sustaining as we can.
When people come here and see the work we do, they learn to appreciate food more, which is actually why I started farming. I wanted to know where my food came from. In the same regard, that's almost what gives me hope, because you do see that there's people our age and younger getting into it, and there's definitely a change, I think, in the way people are thinking about their food. So
even if it's not a whole farm like we have here, but people are trying to buy plots of land for a homestead, they're raising chickens, they're just doing a little bit of gardening, and every little bit like that helps.
And just so you know, most of the videos that we've shown today have also been produced by our student interns. And so we have specifically recruited and hired interns that are interested in video. And this has been a great experience. And usually we get them really interested in sustainability along the way. Okay, next, cooking classes. I know many dining programs across our country are doing cooking classes affiliated with their dining programs. And we have been doing this for years for students. And often we're partnering with a teacher. This year was different with the pandemic. So we went virtual and offered classes with a specific focus on plant-based eating and seasonal eating. We did more cooking classes this year than we'd ever done, which was a great, and collaborated not just with faculty, but also with student groups. It was a great opportunity for students to be able to do some type of activity safely. And we found that they could actually prepare the food in their own kitchen while watching virtually. So versus working in an institutional kitchen. So it made almost more sense for them. A couple things that we actually did, we did a Black History Month cooking demo with one of our professors, Karen Miller. Our dietitian did cooking classes, our chefs, Frank, our chef Brad, our chef Phyllis. And then we also collaborated with students, and we had some student-led cooking classes with a number of different student groups, from Real Food to the Office of Health Promotion to the Taiwanese Cultural Association. And we did also feature some of the virtual cooking demos on our social media. And I'm just going to show you a little bit about this. It was a weekly series for a while done by our executive chef, Brad, and it's Cooking with Brad.
Welcome to another episode of Cooking with Brad, brought to you by Boston College Dining Services. Today we're making a dish inspired by the Corcoran Commons Farmers Market. Being able to get great produce usually starts at the farmers market. Local produce is better for you, and on top of that, it's picked ripe. Because it doesn't have to ship across the country, produce can be picked at the peak of ripeness. With the farmers market, you're also supporting the farmers directly, so if you can, please shop local. But today, we're inspired by this market, and we're going to make a carrot salad. So what we'll need is carrots with the tops, some ricotta cheese, Aleppo pepper with honey crystals, some pine nuts, some kale, some mint, and some various other spices, which we'll talk about. So the first is to get our pine nuts roasting. So what I've done is I've set an oven for 350 degrees, get the pine nuts onto the sheet tray, and then we'll throw them in the oven. It takes about 5 minutes.
I'm not going to show you the whole video because we want to keep moving on. So let's go to the next slide, which Molly will be talking about.
Yeah, so just one more aspect of sustainability that we wanted to highlight was the way we use our social media. And so what we've done this year is we've devoted one specific day during the week to sustainability posts, where one of our interns kind of craft a post based on something we want to celebrate, whether it's telling a story about a producer or an ingredient that is particularly sustainable, or publicizing an event we're about to put on, or giving some background info on how to use our Green to Go program. And this initiative was actually spearheaded by a freshman first-year intern this year who really took initiative to develop this and say, how can we use our sustainability better to promote sustainability? So that's been really fun to see.
And we're going to talk to you about some of our food justice initiatives. We're really proud to be the most diverse department on campus. And as you can see by that slide, we've got 33 nations of origin our employees have. We speak more than 11 different languages. And you can see we have a huge staff. We have over 1,000 employees that work for us. So we've tried to leverage that, and we have a program called Global Eats, where we have empowered our cooks to do either feature a dish from their home country or do research and feature. And you can see here, this has been publicized in some industry publications across the country. You've got an Armenian lamajon here, and this is a specialty Haitian chicken dish there. Our cooks are incredibly proud to do this. We feature them on our digital signage with a photo, and it's been a great opportunity and really well received. Another great initiative that we've been working on for years is a program called We Are BC Dining, which highlights a member of our frontline dining team and gives the opportunity for the community to get to know them better, where they're from originally, what their favorite food is. And we've been wanting to move this. This has been in a poster form, and this year we moved it to a post on Instagram, and one of our student interns, Alyssa, took point on this and just really did a fabulous job. Every Thursday, we would have a post specifically highlighting a member of our team. And she and another intern would go interview our frontline employees and really have some interesting stories, take a photo, and then put this post on Instagram, where we had tremendous engagement from the community, and also gave all of us an opportunity to get to know our people a lot better.
We also wanted to highlight the work of our intern, Veronica Lynn, who is graduating this year, in her contributions to our food justice goals. Veronica started this past fall working on a food justice roadmap, which is basically, a plan for BC Dining to highlight what are the different areas within our operations where we could improve in terms of food justice, and what are the next steps we could take as an institution to improve in terms of equity, diversity, and inclusion as a business. And Veronica was a really instrumental part of that. She did so much research into what is food justice, what's already being done at peer institutions in terms of food justice. And then she did a deep dive into what are we currently doing already, where are our strengths, what are our weaknesses, and gave a presentation to all of our managers and interns, our entire team, about her research, and engaged everyone in a really important discussion on food justice and our role in creating a more equitable food system. So she has just had a lot of leadership in terms of this project, and then has now passed it on to a first-year student who is taking her roadmap and working with me to develop next steps for our food justice initiative. So the next little thing we want to highlight is our waste reduction initiatives. We've had a ton of growth in waste reduction over the past few years, and also gotten a ton of feedback and engagement with students in this particular area. Something that I always think is really fun about our waste reduction is that it's one of the areas where I think we get a lot of feedback from students saying like, hey, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you, using a compostable dish? And so that's been one of the ways that we've actually engage with a lot of students, said like, oh, if you talk to us about what you want to see in this area, we can make that happen. And that's how a lot of our interns really have gotten started working with dining. So that's been really fun about waste reduction. But one particular area that we're really excited about in waste reduction is food waste reduction, and specifically our food donation program. This student group, Every Bite Counts, has been working with us for several years. They compile lists of student volunteers who come into our dining halls and pack up leftover food after every meal to then donate. It's picked up by a local food rescue organization and distributed to shelters, hospitals, and other organizations in our area who are in need of food. It's just been a great way for us to not only reduce our waste, but also engage with a student group and give them the opportunity to, meet this need that they were really passionate about. In addition to food waste, we do a lot on reducing plastics within the dining halls. In particular, our Choose to Reuse initiative is an educational campaign that basically seeks to educate students about what is the impact of single-use plastics on the environment and why should you personally choose to go for the reusable options in the dining hall as opposed to the paper and plastic disposable options. And we do that through tabling events, through social media, through signage to really get to students and change their habits. Because we see students 4 years at BC Dining as a time to really shape their waste habits. If we can teach students how to compost, recycle properly, how to choose more sustainable products, how to reuse, that's a really crucial skill for them going forward. These are just some examples of the events student interns have run to educate students about our waste initiatives. And another really key initiative that we introduced several years ago, but only just expanded to all 3 units, is our Green to Go program. This is a reusable to-go container program. These green containers are offered at all dining halls. Students just need to ask to be served in them. And they can take it to go anywhere on campus, bring them back, where they're washed by our staff. And it's just a really easy way to cut down on waste from disposable to-go containers. We've gotten so much great feedback on this program since we expanded it. It's one of the things that students talk to me most about, saying they're excited about them seeing us introduce this initiative.
And I have to say that this project has been Molly's since she started here at BC, and she deserves a lot of credit for the fact that we have it out in all the dining locations. So again, another great example how a student intern can really help make an impact campus-wide.
And it even goes back farther than me, because the student sustainability manager before me, Anne-Marie Green, was also, a crucial leader in making this program happen. It was really her idea, I think, several years ago. She did a ton of the legwork in doing research and calling peer institutions saying, oh, you have a Green to Go program. How does it work? What are your suggestions for, Boston College if we were to do this program? So Anne-Marie really did the research to present why this would be a great initiative for us to have at BC Dining. And she was the one who was able to implement it as a pilot program. Now that she's graduated, we finally have expanded it. But we also just wanted to highlight Anne-Marie because she's a great example of someone who's used skills developed through the dining internship in her future career. She graduated just this past year, but she's already working as an associate for the US PIRG, Public Interest Research Group's Right to Repair campaign. So she's working on political campaigns to encourage the repairing of electronics rather than them just being discarded and wasted. So and I think I've kept in touch with Anne-Marie very well since she's graduated, and she is so passionate about BC Dining and really feels that the work she was able to do in waste reduction through dining has been a really direct path to the work she's doing now, which is really amazing to see.
And Anne-Marie was another student who came to me with concerns about what we were doing at dining, and really was kind of upset and was complaining. And we chatted, and she had such great ideas. We said, Anne-Marie, you have to come work for us. And she really helped us make huge progress in this area. All right, our next section is about collaborations across campus. And I think Molly's going to talk about the student organizations.
Yeah, something that's really been amazing that I've gotten to do as an intern has been working really closely with different student-led organizations on campus, especially sustainability groups. Students really see BC Dining as one of the main aspects of the administration where they can engage with sustainability and get support. So every year we work with some of the main sustainability groups to put on an annual Green Week festival. So this is a week-long event where we bring speakers to campus. We host cooking classes. We, have tree planting celebrations. Various different events. And dining has always been a really important part of putting that event together. We also run a sustainability action committee through dining. where we basically provide the space, provide a meal, and bring different leaders from various sustainability groups and departments on campus to meet together at least once a month to discuss the various sustainability initiatives that's going on in their own groups, as well as what dining is doing. So dining has had a really, influential role in facilitating collaboration among sustainability groups through that SAC. We also work closely with student groups devoted to sustainable agriculture and food justice. Real Food BC is an organization that we've worked with frequently. We often host cooking classes for them, really allowing their student leaders to, use some of our resources and work with our chefs to do cooking classes related to sustainable eating. We have also, increased our partnership with food heritage organizations like the Taiwanese Cultural Association, as Beth mentioned, to host cooking classes. So really I'm proud of the way we've engaged with student leaders.
And we also have mentioned some of these professors. You saw Tara. She's been somebody we've been working with for years and doing projects with and sponsoring research studies for her students. She was in one of the videos we showed. Another Professor Shore does Planet in Peril. That's a freshman seminar, and they do a whole project about dining and present, and she has them eat vegan for a few days. And then we also mentioned Professor Miller. We've done cooking classes and partnered with her on a number of her classes. So it's been really great. Even through the farm share, we have met new faculty members that have reached out to us and asked us to partner. So it's been great to be involved in not just in the dining hall, but also in the classroom.
Yeah, and just one last way that we've engaged with students is through research and group projects. A lot of students reach out to us through research seminars and classes that they're involved with, asking to use the data that we keep or to do projects related to dining as part of their academic work, which has been really cool. My team, through the database that we'll talk about a little bit more later, has worked with several different students just this past semester to provide them with data about our vendors, about our local sourcing. I've done a lot of interviews with students where they'll ask me questions about our sustainability initiatives, and it's really useful, this information, for them in doing their own research. We've also worked with the Public Health Club this past semester. They are a group of interns for the public health organization, and they wanted a project related to food and sustainability. So we worked with them to help have them craft different graphics for us that we can then use as education. So really a benefit for both of us. Similarly, we worked with BC PIRG, an advocacy organization on campus. They wanted to help us get feedback on our Green to Go initiative. So we worked with them to craft a survey that they then sent out to students to get feedback on Green to Go. We also worked with the organization Consulting for Social Impacts, who put together a similar survey to collect data on students' composting habits. So basically a way for both BC Dining to benefit, from the work these clubs want to do, but also for them to get research experience that's really valuable on both sides.
And Molly mentioned the database. We did have one key student, Will, who will be graduating this year, work on this and get support from our IT department. The goal of this project from the beginning was to build a tool where the data could be stored and then reported on as it relates to sustainability efforts within dining. I know many of my colleagues across the country, this is one of the more difficult tasks that we are asked to do. And we wanted to build this database and application dashboard so we could report on our purchasing metrics, specifically about what those sustainability attributes might be. So the process was design the database, build the application and dashboard, research and upload the relevant data. And we're in a pretty good place. Our student Will did just present on it this past week. and it's we're making significant progress. So we report to the Menus of Change, we report to ASHE, we report to Farm to Institution New England with the data from this database. And it's getting much easier to do this, which is great because we'll be able to measure the impact of a lot of our initiatives. And here, I mentioned Will on the left. He's been great. You know, he wasn't particularly interested in sustainability when he took this job. He was a computer science major, and then once he started working with us, we won him over. So you can see he's graduating and will be working for a consultant in Denver, Colorado. And then Katie Zona, also somebody that joined us the summer of her freshman year. So she's been with us almost all of the years she's been here at BC, and has done a number of different projects, from the farm share to working on the database to working the farmers market. And she now, you can see, has, and we won her over with the Fresh to Table. She came up to the table and we started chatting with her, and that's where she said, I want to work for you guys. And now that's, she'll be doing sustainability related research as an analyst for a company in Boston. We just wanted to share, we've got a sustainability report that if you're interested, it's available on our website. This was a project in collaboration with myself and our sustainability manager, but we did have a student intern do the whole design, and a number of student interns did quite a bit of research to put this together. We were really proud to present this across the campus with some of the faculty, administration, as well as some of the student groups that we work with. And you can see we're not finished. Here's some goals that we've set for 2023, but I really want, since the focus of this talk has been about engagement, to look at the orange section of the slide and show that this student awareness piece is still very important to us, and we think we can continue to do this and do it better. We want to continue to try to empower students to make good choices. The collaboration with students and faculty that we've shared with you, and using this campus as a living lab, and using dining services as a living lab to find solutions to some of the issues we face. We will continue. And then we engage with our leadership team so that this is constantly top of mind. And I'll let Molly close with our last slide.
Great. So we just wanted to wrap up this presentation by highlighting what we feel like are some of the key takeaways, from our experience doing sustainability through dining. I think that the main takeaway is that dining is not just about, putting food in students' bodies. It's really about using our platform to empower future food leaders. And to, we do that not just through our intern program, but through our constant engagement with students, with researchers, with professors, drawing the entire BC community into what we do through dining. The intern program in particular, I think is something I think is so important. For my own experience, has been the best decision I ever made at BC is to join the BC Dining Intern team, because it's an amazing community of people who are passionate about sustainability, but also because it provides such tangible skills and knowledge within the sustainability field. That intern, engagement is so crucial. But beyond that, just this constant engagement that we have with students through student research projects, through outreach and events, through collaborations with student groups. It really brings students into what we're doing, helps them give us feedback about how we can improve, but also gives them so much important resources and feedback and mentorship through dining as to how they can become, better sustainability leaders, better food leaders. We also, want to highlight the importance of this connection between our producers and our local vendors. There's just a really incredible connection when you You can bring students on trips to visit local farms. You can bring the farmer to campus to talk to students, to give presentations. That connection is just so crucial to the message of sustainability that we're trying to impart on students. And also just, the idea of dining hall as a living lab. We have this amazing space of passionate people. We have so much purchasing power through what we're buying. We just are, an amazing opportunity for students, for staff, for interns to learn and have their own impact on what dining is doing. So I'm just, incredibly excited about the work that we've been doing. I'm really proud to have been able to be a part of the sustainability initiatives at BC, and hope that, you all have, can take something away from, our experiences and with sustainability and dining.
Thank you very much for listening, and we look forward to your questions in June.